Starting off on number 10, here we have is Gal Gadot Wonder Woman from Batman Superman Wave. Now, I'm a fan of Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, despite her acting not being a 10 out of 10.
Kalel, no!
Now, I gotta be honest, the only good thing about this figure is the head sculpt. They definitely nailed the Gal Gadot head sculpt. It looks a lot like her, so they did an amazing job in there. But from the improvements, they also went with some that were really downgrades, such as the paint. The paint, they tried to make her costume more darker, like in the film, but they didn't really nail it. Some parts it's just lazy painted, like in the boots. It's supposed to be a little bit of flesh on the boots, which they already did. Like in the very beginning, that's what they did. They gave her more detail with that figure, as I'm showing you here with my custom one that I made. As you can see in the boots, they have more flesh, and in the new one, they just painted it red. They didn't even bother to paint it with flesh. But yeah, the only good thing about this figure is the head sculpt. Everything else, I'm not really a big fan of. The accessories they gave her, although they're pretty cool, they're huge.
That's what she said!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
They're they're really huge. I don't know why. As you can see, also with my custom, the sword is much smaller, and the shield that I gave her is much smaller, and it looks better on her because the accessories they gave her, they're just freaking huge. They have detail in it, which is pretty nice, but the size of these figures are really bad on her. I don't think it looks very good with that accessories they gave her. So yeah, the only good thing, like I said, is the head sculpt for this Wonder Woman. And in number 9, here we have is Doomsday vs Superman 2-pack based on the Batman vs Superman wave. Now, someone in McFarlane must have been also a fan of Gal Gadot because they did not even care to do an upgraded Henry Cavill head sculpt. They just basically reused the one that we got previously, which was from the Zack Snyder Justice League wave. But the body, obviously the body for me, the first time they did it, it is perfect. I don't think they needed to upgrade anything on the suit or even articulation, in my opinion. You guys can let me know down in the comments if you guys think they should upgrade something on articulation. But for me, it is fine. I don't have a problem with it. The Doomsday, in the other hand, is alright, I guess. The articulation is not that great, and it does feel cheap. But like for me, yeah, I don't really care how heavy or not heavy the figure is. As long as it doesn't break, I'm happy with it. But yeah, the Doomsday is not that great. It does have nice detail and nice paint, although the blue is kind of bothering me because when you do articulation, you can see in the gaps some blue, the blue that they originally used for the sculpting, I guess. So yeah, you can see that once you start articulating that, guys. So kind of bothers me a little bit. But yeah, I think that would have been better with the final form from the movie, where he has all these crazy spikes and all that. I think that would be better if McFarlane did that instead of just the one they did right now, which I believe is like when he's born. So yeah. With all honesty, I think this 2-pack is mid. I forgot to mention that Henry Cavill also comes with a wire cape, which pretty nice that they did. It levels up this figure so much. But yeah, honestly, this 2-pack is mid. Because Superman is the one carrying this 2-pack, because everybody is getting this 2-pack just for Henry Cavill. I don't think people are getting this 2-pack for Doomsday. Well, except for me. I got it for Doomsday and Henry Cavill. But most of you, I know you, most of you are here just for the Henry Cavill figure. In number 8, here we have is Walmart exclusive Nightwing Vampire. Now, I love the Vampire line. I read a few comics of it until they branched out into other stuff. At that time, I just dropped the line, but I still love the story of it. The Nightwing Vampire is just a great looking figure. The head sculpt is a chef's kiss. Really love the detail they give him. They don't give him a lot of blood, but I think it is decent enough. The amount of blood they give this figure. They also smirch some little blood in his body, which is pretty nice detail. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I kind of find it kind of funny that this guy can put organs on his figures, but WB doesn't let McFarlane do guns. You can put organs on the figures, but you can't use guns. Yeah, make that make sense. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty cool looking figure. They're reusing a lot of the old Nightwing figures, so yeah, that's pretty much it for it. In number 7, we have Batman Detective Comics. This is one I was hoping McFarlane wouldn't mess up since they didn't do a great job on the first appearance of Superman. But I'm happy to say that they did an amazing job. The extras were decent, and the look of the figure is also good. It still has some details which I don't think it was necessary, since in the comic he doesn't have that much muscle or that much detail on him. But either way, I don't think it messes up with the figure. It's still a pretty good looking figure. The head sculpt is great. For the articulation on it, it is not fun. If you make him look up, you will see a huge gap on his neck, which is kind of a deal breaker for me. But the wire cape they gave him is great, and you can do that amazing pose from the comic book cover. So that's pretty amazing. Still a great first appearance Batman. I think they could have done a little bit more better, especially with that articulation in the head. The huge gap you see on his neck, like I said, is a deal breaker for me. If that thing was not there, I think I would have put this guy higher in the list. In number 6, we have Batman versus Superman. Now this one, it is one that I'm biased with, because let's be honest, this figure is not great, but I really love Ben Affleck as Batman, and I think McFarlane did a decent job with this one. Um, the head sculpt is alright. At times you can see Ben Affleck. Sometimes you can't even tell if that is Ben Affleck. The Justice League version of Ben Affleck is still the best one that McFarlane has ever made for Ben Affleck. Amazing. You can really tell that that is Ben Affleck. The accessories are a downgrade for me. The batarangs are very, very thick for no reason. They already did an amazing job with the Justice League one. They gave him very thin, and they also gave him the detail of the lines, chef's kiss right there. With this one, no detail, and I don't know if they're right. I think they're not the right shape either, but I could be wrong. But at least they gave him the correct grappling gun this time around, because in the Justice League version, they gave the unmasked version of Ben Affleck the grapple that he uses when he fights Superman in Batman vs Superman. That grapple was not even in the Justice League movie, but all right. So yeah, that's a nice thing that they did. They gave him the right grapple. From the front, it looks like they gave him a quick black wash, but from the back, nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I hate that they didn't do nothing in the back. They just gave some detail on the front, and that's it. The back is plain. Well, there's detail on the back on the figure, like a lot of detail, like in the front and from the back. But the black wash, they just did it from the front, and that's pretty much it. That kind of bothers me. Some of his gauntlets doesn't have gold, neither on his feet. On his belt, they gave him a great gold belt. Even though in the movie he does have a little bit of black in there, but that's fine. So yeah, if I didn't like Ben Affleck as Batman, I think I would have put this guy in the very, very low list. But like I said, this is a biased figure for me. So yeah. All right, here we have is our top 5 figures. This is where I start to like these figures from 5 all the way to the number 1. So at number 5 we have Adam West Batman. Now, just to get the bad thing out of this figure out of the way, the only bad thing about this figure is the cape. The cape is super long. I still think someone messed up when they were making the figures for the Hugo Strange and this Batman, because Hugo Strange cape, it's much shorter. So if you switch the capes with the Adam West and the Hugo Strange, I think the figures will look a lot better. But that's the only bad thing about this Adam West Batman. Everything else is pretty great. They did an amazing job with the head sculpt. The body is solid. The accessories are quite fun. You can create some funny moments from the show with the extra hands they gave you. And yeah, the only thing I believe this figure is missing, it is the shark repellent. Alright, and number 4 here we have is Dick Grayson as Batman. So to be honest with you guys, for me, despite this being a Dick Grayson as Batman, for me, it looks like the classic Batman for me. I don't know. I know it's supposed to be Dick Grayson as Batman, but for me, it's just classic Batman. I love it. I love the way this figure looks. I love the wire cape they gave him. The accessories are okay. I think I would have liked more batarangs in there, but that's just me nitpicking. Um, yeah, I don't really have much complaint about this figure. I love everything about it. The head sculpt, the accessories they gave him. I don't really have much problems with it. So yeah, it's a number 4. And then number 3 here we have is Robin, Team Drake Robin. This guy has a lot of love because this guy they gave him a bunch of extra accessories, a lot of extra hands. They gave him a double layer for his cape, which is wired. As always, those wired capes are great. The sculpting of the body and head sculpt is amazing. No complaints for me. Yeah, it's just pretty solid Robin figure. Before we do our top 2, here are some honorable mentions. First up, here we have is Batman Armor BvS. Now I know how you're probably gonna be, how the heck is this guy not in your list? Um, this guy I think is too bulky for me. I mean, I love the details they gave him, but this guy is just too bulky. I don't think they did an amazing, great job with how he looks in the movie. It's just too bulky. I don't know. This is probably just me, but that's how I feel about the figure. Um, with all the figures I'm mentioning, I have fun customizing and posing around. With this one, not so much. Um, Next up here we have is also Azrael Batman armor. Don't hate me on this one. I don't really have much that much um attachment to it because I know a lot of people grew up like in the 90s and all that. And some of you probably like that figure because of that. And don't get me wrong, my friend did an amazing job with this figure. I have the red one and the blue one. It's just not a very fun figure to pose around, but he does look amazing on the shelf. And yeah, that's like I said, don't hate me on this one because I know some of you probably have this guy on your list. But just for me, it's just a pretty cool looking figure to look at, and that's pretty much it for me. In number 2, here we have is Robin from Batman Forever. Just like Team Drake, they also gave this Robin a double cloth cape. The head sculpt and the body is fantastic. The only thing I would like for them to make on the sculpting of his body, to make the paint a little metallic, just like in the movie. And I think that would have made it a 10 out of 10 figure for me. But the head sculpt, they did an amazing job. It looks like the actor. There wasn't much accessories on this figure, but that was just to being a better figure. So I'll let that one slide. And in number 1, here we have is Christopher Reeve Superman. Yeah, some of you might not be surprised about this one, but I was one of the lucky ones to get this figure. And I gotta say, I having so much fun with this guy. I love posing him around. It's an amazing figure. The accessories they gave him, it's pretty decent. You could do a lot of cool poses with that, with his accessories they gave him. Would have loved for some kryptonite in there, but that's alright. They gave him the extra head sculpt, which wasn't really necessary because I mean they're giving you the platinum one, which that one's the evil Superman. I don't know why they included that head sculpt of the evil Superman with the Christopher Reeve. They should have given us at least the laser eyes also in there. But anyways, well, they gave you that head sculpt in case you want to do custom, I guess. I mean, so that works. So if you get an extra one and you don't want to hunt down the platinum version, you can just get an extra Christopher Reeve and just repaint it. The sculpting on the body is great. The head sculpt is also pretty good, to be honest. I'll give the head sculpt like an 8 out of 10. Looks fantastic. Although they didn't give him a double cape, I don't think this figure really needed a double cape. I think it looks great just the way they did. They also included the iconic yellow S in the back, which sometimes my friend forgets to add in the other Superman figures. But in this one, they did really add the yellow S. So that's pretty good, cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There you have it. There's my top 10 DC Multiverse of 2024. I believe you can still use the Christopher Reeve for 2025 because I know some people are gonna get it, or are gonna be getting it for next year. So there you have it. Let me know what's in your top 10 down in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.